Do you want to know what it's really like to be an architect? Meg and her husband had been architects all their lives. He had since passed away, but Meg was now having a very rich life doing music and painting and visiting all over the world, but mostly dividing her time between her home in Connecticut and her lovely little flat in Venice, which she often gave to me to use at my will, which was very sweet of her. We were sitting in a cafe not far from this flat, and she explained, so you meet with this client, and they say they've got this great piece of property, and you go out there and you wander across the topography and you talk about the style and what kind of house they're looking for, and then you have meetings and you talk about flow, when people come in from the back or the front door, do they go to the kitchen, is there a mud room, do they go right into the hallway or the living room, and so on. Then you bring in swatches of material and colors of paint and stone and wood, and you go through all that, and then you get various payments along the way. You draw up the plans and they love it, and then the next step is you break ground, and and the checks arrive and so on, and then you seem to get the entire thing done, and they seem to be loving everything, and then you're just waiting for the last check, and the phone rings, and it's the client saying, "Where's the pergola?" And the pergola? And you run back to the plans and you flip over the paper and you look, wait, the pergola? And you say to the whole company, did we have a discussion about a fucking pergola? Of course, nobody, anyway. So that's what it's like to be an architect. And I fully understood that, because when I ran my ad agency, I once had a huge commission to do a 30-second television commercial for a lot of money. And the client was a health organization, and we did exactly what we told them we were going to do. And they flapped their little flippers, and they were in tears. They loved it. They were so happy. And I had 2 of the 3 payments, and before the third arrived, the phone call rang, and it was the secretary of Mrs. Boss. She was the executive director of this agency. I'd never heard of her before. She didn't like the main girl that we cast. She didn't like the little haiku poem. She didn't like this and that. So we ended up having to redo the whole thing, okay? So that's, clients love them. They pay your bills. They are who they are. And you couldn't have work without them. And they're also a major pain in the ass. Pickle. Practically everybody in life is a double-edged sword. Patience. Forbearance.